Alright, how's it going? Anyone watching live or watching the replay afterwards? I have a few things I want to do in the chocolate room today, hence the title. So that's mainly what we're going to be working on here. And that has to do with a new, I guess you could say, hallway that I want to add onto the side. So basically, I guess for some context, in the movie, there's really only shown one way that the characters can enter the room, and that's with the main entrance at the front that you go through after the hallway. And separately, I wanted to, in my build, have a spot for the elevator stop. So on this part over here that comes out into the chocolate, it just happens to go right up against this building. And I decided to try to hide that inside of here. So this is the elevator stop that could teleport you to different areas around the factory. However, after I streamed last week, I had someone message me on Discord, and he pointed out to me, hey, how's it going? He pointed out to me, we talk about the factories, the Minecraft recreations quite a bit, and share ideas back and forth. His name is Fogarty Fox. And after my stream last week, he mentioned to me that in the tie-in video game that came out for, the PS2, I think the Wii, and I don't know if it came out on Xbox, but in that game, they actually added in a hidden kind of walkway on this side of the wall over here, right in this area, that goes down behind these little mounds, and then there's a hallway with a door that goes back that way, similar to all the other doors that the rooms have. And while that's never shown in the movie itself, because it's in the actual tie-in game, I think that's a good enough reason to add it in. And also because it'll be very hidden. It won't be right in your face. It'll actually slope down quite a bit. So when you're over basically anywhere in this room, you won't see it. You have to know to go down this path that I'm going to build. And then that will allow me to have basically a whole new wing of the factory, and it'll be cool because it'll actually be mostly above ground in the actual factory itself, not just hidden and buried underground. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and this will be basically another area that I'm hoping that I can squeeze in some rooms, and then that will break everything up. So because I've been wanting to do this, so basically on the other side here, it's just a big blank space. And I've been meaning to find some things I can put in here to fill up some of this space. So it'll be nice that you enter the factory, and at the beginning there'll be some rooms to explore, and then once you go through the river there will be some. And then during the movie scenes of the glass elevator ride that you see in the movie, I want to add in some rooms over there, so it'll be a nice beginning, middle, and end to where the rooms will be. It's not canon to the movie itself, but I'm justifying it because it's hidden, so you only see it if you're looking for it. And since I've added so much other stuff onto the factory that's not in the movie, I can't really use that, as a reason to not add it, just because I've added on so much other stuff. If it was a very visible door, if it was right here, I wouldn't put it in. But because it'll be hidden behind these, I'm not worried about it. So the first thing, it's gonna be basically right here. So the first thing I want to do is basically get rid of these spheres, and then I'm gonna move them out a few blocks, so it gives me some room down here. Yeah, sure, it's good. What's your question? One thing I want to do though is I want to get rid of these light blocks. Just so I don't forget to do this later. If I remember correctly, I think I have about 20 to 25 additional ones that I added. I think it's more like 25 because I think I remember a month or so ago saying that including the ones you see in the movie, I have like 30, 35 complete. So somewhere around 20, 25. I also remembered to install World Edit before I started today, so I have that back, which is good. Yeah, the goal I had of wanting like 50 done before I release it, that's not like necessarily a hard limit that I have. Basically, once I feel like it's good enough is when it'll be done. I don't know if it'll end up being 50 because that's just a lot. I would like it to be, but I don't have unlimited time, you know? So I'm probably going to reduce that number by a bit. Actually, that'll stay for now, so I know where to re-add these. Yeah, I mean, if we're... so the 50 number I came up with was like total, including everything that was shown in the movie. So really, I have... It's more like 20... Like 15 to 20, probably, that I need to add in. Still, if I want to hit that number. But it is time consuming. This is something I actually want to fix. Hey, how's it going? So because I built this entire room as a cylinder, obviously I have to deal with that a little bit down here. I don't think he, yeah, his chocolate production scene, he might have done that in a separate world. I don't know if it's actually in his factory map, because I never found it either. Alright, so I'm going to need to get rid of the floor here. I think what I'm actually going to do is extend this flat surface down further instead of having it curve in. Just for this spot. It'll give me some more room. Because I only want the pathway to be about 3 blocks wide, so I still have enough room for the spheres that I want to add back in over there. Originally, I was going to try to put the chocolate production area in all this empty space, but it's actually a lot smaller in here than it looks. You need a lot of room to make those scenes, so this isn't enough room over here. Yeah, eventually I'm going to continue on the engine room. I've just been kind of putting it off for a while. I do have an idea of what I want to do to finish it off, though, which is I didn't really have a good idea for a while. So probably in the next few times that I stream, or I might just do it off camera, I'll get it finished up. I do plan to add in the chocolate production area at some point. I have an area that I think I am going to put it in. It'll be underground, though. So I'm not super concerned with making this look like the video game exactly, because I mean, it's the video game, it's not the movie. So in the video game, this is a cobblestone path, but I'm going to use grass. I just think it looks better. Yeah, I'm sure you could find some, some ideas on how to do that. There's been surprisingly a good number of people who have made those scenes in Minecraft, like more than I thought. I'll worry about these flat walls later. Right now, I just want to get this built, the pathway. I'll do some things with this wall so it's not just a rectangle. But I need to get this down far enough. In fact, I actually need to go reference one of the other things I built. It's been a while since I built like a full door, not just into a room with like a hallway. So I'm pretty sure I need 8 blocks of clearance. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, preferably 9, but I can make it work with 8. So, where are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so I need to make this a little bit steeper. And I want this to be like the gradient to be finished before I hit this thing. Just something like that. Can clean it up later. Yeah, I think that it'd be cool. It would be unique too. All right. The game I'm basing this area off of, I remember I played it when it came out as a kid, but it was really confusing for 5-year-old me, so I never got past like the very first level. Alright, so we're pretty much gonna have to go right up to here, which is fine. I prefer the soundtrack version over the theatrical version. Okay. Yeah. So I'm actually, this is gonna be a little bit of a hallway. So I'm gonna make it 1 block wider. Than what I normally make the door. No, I don't really think I'm going to build other rooms from the game. I originally was, so I have a room called the Jelly Beanstalks room that I was going to base off of the level in the game, just because that I think it's actually a clever design. But I might go back, maybe like watch a let's play of it, and see if there's anything that I think would be interesting, but no other plans right now for adding any of that from the game. This just has kind of solved a problem that I actually had, and I just couldn't really think of a good way to solve it. And so it was pointed out to me. So yeah, that's why I'm adding this in. Probably make this just a little bit longer. Well, I'll leave this to do later. I'm gonna, like I said, blend this in to make it not so obvious. So what I was thinking to, once this eventually gets finished, this hallway and then the door, I want to put like hallways in, you know, for more rooms, I think. And I was debating using the way it's described in the book with like a light pink colored walls, so I was thinking about doing that. I wanted to combine the theatrical soundtrack and the soundtrack of the music. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're good with audio mixing. Okay, so how long is this? 12. Okay. Get that block. I always use light gray for the doors. I used to use white, but I like how the light gray looks better. Cool. Might raise this up here. Or, well, I don't want to do that. I just did the same thing. what color? I'll use, for right now, I'll just use light blue. Alright, so probably will have a paved floor instead of grass. Probably use this. And then just, let me do this now before I forget. Finish the door on both sides. I know I end up saying this basically every time I stream, but I'm anticipating that the one today probably will be shorter than the others. Because I might also stream tomorrow, so I don't know how long I'll work on it today. Yeah, whatever, that looks fine. Alright, so got that in. I'm gonna start over here, so I want to think about how I'm gonna approach this. I think first what I should do is add these back in. So we'll do a hollow sphere. Whoops. Then we'll try 3 for now. Oh, not lime green. It's been a while since I had to use those commands. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, so I'm gonna 1 block back, do it 2. Now I'm actually thinking I want this one over here to overhang a little bit. Yes. And now I can put this one there. And probably one more right here. I'm going to move it out by 1 block. This might be the spot I just put it in. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it'd be right here. Okay. So that'll give me an opportunity that I can carve this wall in a little bit, just so it's not flat. And I'm happy with how that looks. On that side, I mean. So I definitely want to make sure that I don't have... Basically, I want to avoid this of having repeated straight lines. And a lot of this lime concrete will get replaced with various, like, brown and black terracotta and concrete. But basically right now I'm trying to dig out like a little cave, sorta. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm just like sloppily shaping it with this. Then I'll fill it in, then tweak it, like finely tweak it. So I'm okay, like, so I'm happy with how it looks. So like, I already know, like, I don't really like how this looks, but this is just so I can get the shape in. It's basically just like a lot easier version of terraforming. So I actually need to get rid of this, because where these sea lanterns are is going to be the lowest level. And this will actually allow me to slope this out a little bit more naturally, now that I think about it. So I only have, like, basically these two stairs that are straight, and then I can make these ones slope. Something like that. Basically all of this needs to get replaced here. So for that I use black terracotta and brown terracotta. And then the brown concrete is used only for the like melted chocolate. So before I had the colored water mod, that was what I used for the chocolate river. It's also what I use for all of the chocolate pipes. So I'm going to go ahead and basically replace all of that with one of these colors, and then after I do that is when I go back and I add in the second color. For me at least, it's just faster doing it that way. And I'm not referencing the game for this part. Like, I know there is like a little cave right here, but I'm not referencing it. I'm just making it up myself. So the rule of thumb that I use is that I never want any areas where there's two lime blocks stacked on top of each other, because I just, you know, to me it doesn't make sense to have like just a wall of grass basically. So that's why I basically have to replace all this. Only the uppermost block is grass. That's just the way I do it. Yeah, these ones can all stay, that's fine. Oh, and then another thing is I never let any, I don't like any grass just floating unless it's intentional, like an overhang, but I still like to put a thing of chocolate underneath it. So that's the other thing I have to keep in mind when I'm doing this. However, the only place I break that rule are on these right here, because in the movie they're literally just spheres of grass. So that's the only time that I break that rule. Okay, like I don't like how that looked, so Just adding in some variation. Slowly but surely. I know this isn't the most entertaining thing to watch, but it is what it is. Let's see. I might just blend the opening in with the actual chocolate. Help break this hard edge. In fact, I'm gonna get rid of this whole wall. This wall will be chocolate. Happy enough with that. You're all good. No worries. So now I'll kind of essentially right now ruin a little bit of what I just did. But I basically just randomly click around. And then that's where I go in with the other color. I try to avoid any obvious patterns. And this will inevitably change some of the shaping that I just did, but that's, you know, that's fine. I find like if I do it where I go like very methodically and I'm like, okay, this block, it ends up not looking as good as if I just go like this. And then I'll look over it and then make sure there's nothing I like. Like the biggest thing I try to avoid is this. I hate when it looks like a checkered pattern like that. So I try to never have that anywhere. So like actually I basically just did it right there. But I kind of think of it like I add in like a vein of the darker chocolate. Yeah, so I'm liking how that looks. I think overall I generally use the brown terracotta as more of the primary color, and the black is like the accent. But it's probably pretty close to 50-50. Another thing I try not to do a whole lot of is having like the layers, the lines. But sometimes I think it looks good. Like I think it looks good here. Because in the movie it's more so like this. They're like layered on top of each other. And obviously it's hard to do that in Minecraft because in the movie they can make it slightly curved, but because, you know, obviously being blocks, it's kind of harder to make it look not just straight. But I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Just want to do a little bit more up here. And I almost forgot about this. Yes, I don't really like how this looks. It's like a little bit too straight. So I'll just add in another one. Okay, so this area back here, honestly, I'm probably just gonna do something like that. Expand this out a little bit. Actually, this might look good if I change the elevation up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this looks actually. And it's still, you know, from like the front, you really don't see it, which is like the point of these right here. You know, I guess sure, you know, if you're like over here, or if you're like up on this thing, it's like, yeah, you're gonna see it. I don't want it to be like 100% hidden. The important part is like when you're walking the way of the movie, so like they come down through here and they go down this way, and then they walk up this way. Like it's not like right in your face, it just looks kind of like a little hidden area back here. And then if you're really looking for stuff, then you'll come across it. Alright, so next part, I'm going to get rid of the sea lanterns. I'm going to blend the grass in a little bit here. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, like literally just that simple, just so it's not a hard line. Okay, get rid of all of those. Now, alright, so which ones did I use? I've been using the full strength, so okay. First things first, I need to light these back up. Like that. And now I'm thinking maybe using a dimmer lighting down here. Although that's darker than I want. Might just end up using the full strength. Yeah. Then I'll probably put like right there. Yeah, I think this looks pretty cool, to be honest. Alright, so I want to edit the candy around here a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of this pole. This one can probably stay. It helps kind of hide this a little bit. But that needs to go. That can also stay. Let's see. What I might do is, so basically it's not very obvious, it's very subtle, but I have the colored carpets outlining the path that like I recommend people take. So like I recommend that, like, because the room is pretty large, you know, that you follow it this way, and then if you want to go the way they did in the movie, you go down through there, which is why the carpet leads that way, and then back up, and then over, and then they go onto the boat. But because obviously the bridges are cool, I also put some over here. So, you know, you can also walk this way is a good way to go. And in spirit of that, I think what I'm going to do is add in, like, just a hint of them down this way. Just so if someone's going into this with no knowledge of what I just made, that they at least are tempted to go over here. In fact, this would be a good area, the actual, like right here, to light this up with that. So it's not so bright that it's like too obvious that there's something here. Yes. Just want to check this one more time, make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think so. I'm gonna go ahead and add like a few little candies things down there. Like smaller stuff. I really like these like candy cane sort of looking things. Might add a few down here. maybe a few. These are meant to be like the candy pumpkins. So I feel like I have. We'll use these colors. I don't want to put too much down here though. Just kind of in the corners. And then lastly, probably a few candles. Huh. I did not know that they could do that. That adds a little bit of interest. Because also, I didn't mention, another thing that I'm going to be doing here is because I have a lot more room. I'm going to be removing the elevator from in here, I think. And moving it to here. Because I'm basically treating this as, like, how do I want to describe it? There's the entrance to the room, like from the lobby area, but that's not really connected to the rest of the factory because there's really no, like, from the moment you enter the factory you basically have to go straight into here. So I wanted the chocolate room, like, I guess you could say the lore. I wanted like an actual room, like hallway going to it, like how the inventing room, the nut room, like they have a hallway that you like can enter the room from. So I wanted that for the chocolate room, and I couldn't really think of a good way to do it. So the way I got around that was by adding in the elevator stop inside of here. And it is kind of cool that like this building actually has a function, but I had to really squeeze it in here, and it was so tight that I didn't even have room to do a redstone door, so I had to put these in, which I've never been a fan of. So I think I'm going to remove that and move it to down here. So then this will serve as like the entrance from within the factory to the chocolate room, which is why I like having a little bit of candy stuff down here, so you know where you are. But what I want to do is I want to add in just a little bit more because it's kind of bare over in this corner. I think I want to add in like one more of these. Maybe a taller one. And that can go there. Something like that. I think that gives a pretty good idea. Okay. So the next thing, I guess, is kind of deciding what I want the other side of this to be. And this is kind of like, you know, this is the inside shell of the actual factory exterior. So like I'm pretty sure on the other side of this wall is, yeah, it's just the outside. So I'm limited to what is within these walls. I can go all the way out to there. Obviously I can go below ground, but I'm trying to avoid doing that right away. But I do need to put in the elevator stop for the chocolate room. And I'm thinking 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking of honestly just putting it on the side of one of these walls. Because once you go through here, I want there to be a hallway system, so it wouldn't really make sense to have the chocolate room's elevator like in the hallway, where you have to go through another door. But I need this to be an even number of blocks, and of course it's an odd number. Because I added that in. The easiest way to fix that is just going to be to move this thing back by 1. Yeah. Yeah, like that, and then I can, you know, basically I just extended this whole thing by 1. And I'll just do this real quick. Well, actually, this can be glass. Alright, so now these two should be the center, I think. Yeah. I feel like it feels natural to have it on this side. I should have enough room. If I don't, I can break that wall. Alright, so I do need to go down just a few blocks. So I have, alright. I was about to say I have saved hotbars of all the stuff I used to build these, but because I reinstalled the game, obviously that's not there, so I'm going to have to manually get all the stuff I need. Once again, I do not claim to be a redstone person. I can just do it well enough to suit my needs. So, people who are good with redstone might cringe, but it is what it is. I know, like, you know, a more compact way to do it would be just to, like, do the thing where you stack and alternate the redstone torches, but I couldn't be bothered, honestly. Alright, so let me have that for right now. Alright. Just wanted to make sure it worked. Alright, so I have a very, like, I built all of these the same as long as the space allows it. So yeah, I have a very, like, I don't want to say down to a science, because I frequently make mistakes still. I'm sure I'll mess something up with this. But I do have a uniform design for consistency. They're basically, you know, it's just basically a glass box, like the elevator in the movie. And then I always surround it in white. Has been a while since I built one of these. Haven't been doing a lot of work on the rooms recently. It's been a lot of, like, smaller projects that I've been wanting to do, or like this I came across, or was suggested to me last week. I haven't played the game since I streamed last Thursday, so I wanted to do it today. Admittedly, I've been spending most of the free time that I allocate for video games, at least. I have been playing / replaying Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think that's a super underrated game. I never beat it when it came out. I got like halfway through, but I'm trying to actually go ahead and beat the main story this time around. Okay, need frog paint. I still use actual light blocks for these lights in the elevators. I think it looks cool. As opposed to just hiding them, you know, with the light blocks. However, down here I do use light blocks, or the like, well, you know what I mean, the command ones. Like this. I guess it makes sense actually to change this, huh? Yeah. And then I always use the block of the outside for the door because I want it to blend in from the outside. I don't really care about how like it looks right here. Okay, I need to give myself a command block. Whoop. All right. And that's it. Oh, I wanted to switch out these pressure plates for these ones, I think. Yeah. Blends in a little bit better. Oh, one other thing I like to do is I like to just stick on a fake elevator button somewhere. It doesn't do anything, just for decoration. But yeah, so I'm happier with this placement overall as opposed to this placement, mainly so I don't have to have these ugly doors here anymore. So I'm going to remove this now. I'm not going to totally remove it yet because I want to well, actually I guess I can. I was going to say because I want to save which rooms are written down here, but I have a whole list of all the rooms written down, so I'm just going to get rid of this and then the command blocks. I'm not going to get rid of like all this stuff. I can just cover it up. like that. Get rid of that as well. I will get rid of the most outer one just in case. That. So you can see, like, I was really restricted by space in here. Like it was never there. I do wanna. Well, I can leave this in here. That's fine. It's a little wet because this is basically supposed to be a doorway. It's just in the movie you don't really see it being used except for the Oompa Loompas. So I'll leave the pathway in there, even though it is blocked off. But yeah, I'm happy with how this has turned out. It's a very simple. Sometimes I find that I most like the little things I add that are, they're small things. Like in this massive room of pretty cool stuff, I spent like an hour and a half about building this little thing, and I think this adds a lot. It really adds a lot to the room, in my opinion. And it finally solved the problem of me not having a proper entrance for this room. So yeah, the next thing, that I do want to do is I want to start making the hallways system out here, but I'm not exactly sure how I want it to be yet. So I can either do it in the style of the movie where they have like that one lone shot after the inventing room of like the hallways as they're walking to the nut room. I could do it in that style like I have in the rest of the factory. I've also been thinking about in the actual book, like the original book that all this is based off of, the hallways are described as being, I think, a light pink, although I probably wouldn't use like literal pink. I'd probably do something like probably the white terracotta, because it has kind of like a pinkish tone to it, very slight. And it's described as being pink hallways that have a lot of different pathways that like are constantly going off into other hallways. That have like a gentle slope down because they're walking underground. So I'm not sure yet which I want to go with. I'm leaning towards probably just the style of the movie, not the pink hallways, just for consistency. And because I have so much room in here, like I have a lot of room to go up, have a lot of room inside the actual building walls. And then if we look, I'm on, Y coordinate, or the Z coordinate, 56. So I have a lot of room to go down, almost 100 blocks, like 94 blocks, something like that. So I could really do a lot over here, so I don't think I'm going to continue on today. Like I was saying, this is probably going to be one of the shorter live streams because I think I'll probably stream tomorrow as well and like start working on, the hallways out here and like maybe planning out some rooms. So yeah, like today I basically just wanted to get this done. This little thing, and I'm happy. Once again, I'm very pleased with how it turned out. It's exactly how I wanted it to look, basically. So yeah, I know that was a shorter stream, but just a, kind of quick little afternoon one. doing a small project. Yeah, if everything goes how I think it will for the rest of today and tomorrow, I will stream tomorrow, likely around the same time in the afternoon. If for some reason I can't stream, then there just won't be a stream, but I would like to tomorrow. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for today, I think. Thanks for sticking around and watching this short one here, and I hope I see you in the future streams and videos. Take it easy.